Make a little progress every day. And start today. The end. Your life doesn't need to be extraordinary to contain extraordinary stories. You need to become better at noticing ordinary moments that change you. A great personal story isn't merely something interesting happened. I describe what happened. It is closer to I was one person, something happened, I realized / felt / understood something, I became slightly different. Dix explicitly distinguishes stories from anecdotes through change. A collection of exciting events without transformation may be entertaining, but it is usually forgettable. That distinction may be the most important concept in the book. To the 5-second moment. Dix wants you to search for the tiny instant in which something changes. It could be a realization, a discovery, an emotional shift, a new understanding, a decision, seeing another person differently, or seeing yourself differently. He calls this the 5-second moment. And surprisingly, you should construct your story backward. Find the 5-second moment first. That gives you the ending. Then determine where the story should begin. Everything between those 2 points should help the audience reach that transformation with you. Practical formula. Before struggle, 5-second moment. After example. Before, I believed nobody cared about me. Event, someone unexpectedly helps me. 5-second moment, maybe I wasn't as alone as I thought. That's the story. The helping itself isn't necessarily the story. The change is the story. 3. Homework for life, probably the highest ROI idea in the book. This is the exercise from Storyworthy I would keep even if the rest of the book disappeared. Every night, spend about 5 minutes asking, what happened today that was storyworthy? Don't write the entire story. Record enough words to bring the moment back later. For example, date storyworthy moment. Monday, Dad called unexpectedly. Tuesday, stranger returned my wallet. Wednesday, son asked why adults stopped playing. Thursday, failed presentation, colleague helped. Friday, realized I don't hate meetings, I hate pointless meetings. Do this every day. Dix says it gradually trains your storytelling lens, your ability to recognize meaningful moments that you previously would have ignored. He warns that this may take months. Commitment and faith in the process matter. But there's a deeper benefit. You create an archive of your life. Dix says the practice changed his perception of time. Instead of days disappearing into one another, recorded moments allow him to mentally return to individual days and experiences. Action that pays off. Starting tonight. 5 minutes, 1 moment every day. Don't ask, did something amazing happen? Ask, what made today different from every other day? For a powerful real incident, Clara. One of the book's most valuable examples shows why homework for life matters. Dix's daughter Clara asks him to pick her up. She's getting older and heavier. His arms start tiring, and an injured foot begins hurting, so he's about to put her down. Then she whispers, "It's just so nice to be held this close." Dix suddenly realizes that he is probably the last person capable of carrying her this way. Soon she won't ask anymore. So he keeps holding her. That tiny moment becomes story-worthy not because anything spectacular happened, but because his understanding of the moment changed. Lesson. Many of life's most important moments don't announce themselves. They look ordinary while they're happening. 5 small stories often beat spectacular stories. Dix has unusually dramatic material available to him: near-death experiences, homelessness, jail, being robbed at gunpoint, and other extreme events. Yet the book repeatedly argues that ordinary emotional experiences can connect more deeply. Why? Because listeners may never have nearly died, been homeless, faced a gun, or been arrested. But almost everyone understands embarrassment, rejection, loneliness, love, fear, insecurity, wanting acceptance, parenthood, regret, hope, high-value insight. Don't search for extraordinary events. Search for universal emotions inside specific events. That is extremely useful for YouTube, speeches, interviews, teaching, and content creation. 6. The dinner test. One of Dix's simplest rules. Ask whether you would tell approximately the same story to a friend over dinner. If not, you may be performing rather than storytelling. Avoid artificial theatrical language, exaggerated gestures, and unnatural delivery. The stage version can be more carefully constructed, but it should still feel like one human being talking naturally to another. Great practical rule. Prepare heavily. Sound unprepared. Dix doesn't advocate blindly improvising. Storytellers may know their major beats, beginning, ending, and important lines. But the audience should feel, "He's telling me something," rather than, "He's reciting something." 7. The elephant. Tell us why we should care. Every story needs what Dix calls an elephant. It is the obvious want/problem/need/peril/mystery. The audience needs to understand relatively quickly. Why should I keep listening? Dix recommends revealing it early, ideally within the first minute, and even better within roughly 30 seconds when possible. Compare. Weak. My mother was admired by everybody in town. Interesting perhaps, but where is this going? Stronger. When I was 9 years old, I wanted to disown my mother. Immediately. Why? Now the audience needs another sentence. YouTube application. Your elephant is often your hook. Instead of, "Today I'm going to tell you about procrastination." Try, "I wasted 3 years waiting to feel ready. Now there is a problem." 8. The ultimate storytelling question. Throughout the book's discussion of stakes, one question dominates. Would the audience want to hear my next sentence? Dix suggests testing whether people would care if you stopped speaking. This is an outstanding editing principle. Take any YouTube script, speech, presentation, or article. After every paragraph ask, would someone voluntarily continue? If not, cut it, shorten it, create curiosity, introduce conflict or increase stakes. 9. 5 tools for creating stakes. Dix gives several memorable techniques. 1. Elephant. Show the central problem. I'm stranded with a flat tire and no spare. Now we need the solution. 2. Backpack. Tell the audience your plan, hopes and fears before attempting something. Instead of, "I asked him for money and he refused." Show, "I only need $8. I'll offer my license as collateral. Surely he'll help." Now when he refuses, the audience feels the failure too. Dix compares this to heist movies, explaining the plan makes viewers emotionally invested when the plan breaks. 3. Breadcrumb. Reveal just enough about what is coming to create curiosity. Then I noticed my McDonald's uniform in the back seat and got an idea. Don't immediately reveal the idea. Make us wonder. 4. Hourglass. When the audience desperately wants the answer, slow down. That's when description and pauses become useful. Dix deliberately slows his charity thief story immediately before revealing what he is about to do. 5. Crystal ball. Tell us what you thought was about to happen. I knew he was calling the police. Even if that prediction turns out to be wrong, the audience now wonders whether it will happen. 10. Perfect plans are boring. An excellent insight appears in the backpack discussion. Suppose. Problem clever plan works finished. There's little story. Instead. Problem plan failure worse problem adaptation struggle outcome. Dix argues that audiences want protagonists to succeed eventually, but they also want struggle first. Business application. This is why we launched the product and revenue increased 30%. Is weaker storytelling then? We launched it. Nobody bought it. Then We discovered one assumption we'd gotten completely wrong. Now you've got a story. 11. Don't tell somebody else's story, tell your side of it. Dix strongly favors personal narrative. If something happened to your friend, parent, or colleague, don't simply become their biographer. Ask, how did this affect me? That's your story. The book gives examples involving children of Holocaust survivors. Their parents' histories matter enormously, but the effective stories remain anchored in the children telling them their experiences, fears, and relationship to that history. Valuable rule. You don't necessarily own another person's experience, but you do own your relationship to that experience. 12. Vulnerability creates connection. One of the strongest claims running through Storyworthy is that personal stories reveal the storyteller. That vulnerability can create trust. Dix describes women approaching him after performances and privately telling him about miscarriages they had told no one about. His wife's interpretation was that his willingness to share difficult experiences honestly made him feel safe to them. He describes similar experiences with students opening up after hearing stories about homelessness and jail. Leadership lesson. People rarely connect deeply with perfection. They connect with recognizable humanity. But vulnerability should serve the story, not become uncontrolled oversharing. 13. Humor isn't the destination. A storyteller doesn't need to be a comedian. Dix argues that great stories usually move across multiple emotional states. Humor can make painful material easier to absorb and keep attention through weaker sections, but a story that is only funny risks becoming emotionally flat and forgettable. Think. Face with tears of joy, curiosity, tension, heavy black heart. Rather than face with tears of joy, 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 face with tears of joy. His distinction is useful. Comedian wants laughter continuously. Storyteller wants laughter at the right moment. 14. Don't over-resolve everything. Another counterintuitive lesson. Don't necessarily wrap every story in a beautiful bow. Dix compares a memorable story to a coat that is difficult for the audience to remove. Sometimes unresolved guilt, uncertainty, or unanswered questions cause the audience to continue thinking about a story long after it ends. He therefore argues that the best ending may occur before complete resolution. Content lesson. Don't always end. And everything worked perfectly forever. Sometimes. I still don't know whether I made the right decision. Is much stronger. The audience continues the story inside their head. 15. Real incident, discovering why he writes. While speaking to roughly 700 high school students in Brazil, Dix was asked why he writes, blogs and shares so much of himself. The question produced an unexpected realization. He concluded that perhaps he had spent his life seeking the attention he had lacked from his parents. What makes this incident especially relevant to the book is that Dix recognized, while standing there, that he was experiencing one of his own 5-second moments. Lesson. Storytelling isn't only communicating what you know. Sometimes storytelling helps you discover what you didn't know about yourself. 16. Storytelling as time travel. Near the end of the book, Dix offers one of its larger ideas. Great storytelling makes listeners temporarily forget the present and mentally enter the storyteller's past. The storyteller is essentially creating a movie inside the audience's mind. That gives us a useful rule. Don't merely explain the past. Bring the listener into the moment. Instead of, my childhood was difficult. Give us, where are you? Who is there? What do you want? What are you afraid will happen? What happens next? Now we're inside the experience. 17. The book's strongest practical lessons. Principle: what it means. Action. Homework for life. Story-worthy moments happen daily. Record one every night. 5-second moment transformation is the heart. Find the change first. Start at the end. Know what the story means. Build backward. Elephant: establish stakes. Quickly reveal problem/want early. Backpack: let us understand the plan. Explain hopes/fears before action. Breadcrumb: curiosity retains attention. Hint without revealing. Hourglass delay, highly anticipated answers slow down at peak tension. Crystal ball predictions create suspense, tell us what you feared/expected. Dinner test, authentic beats theatrical, speak naturally. Personal narrative connection comes through, you tell your side. Transformation events aren't enough, show before after. Strategic humor, emotional contrast matters, don't make everything a joke. Messy endings, unanswered questions linger, don't over-explain. 18 best lines/ideas worth saving. Keeping quotations brief, these are among the book's ideas that have the most practical value. Find your stories. Collect them. Save them forever. Commitment and faith. The requirements Dix identifies for sticking with homework for life. Humor is optional. Stakes are non-negotiable. And one principle worth paraphrasing rather than quoting. A successful story makes the audience need your next sentence. That single test can improve speeches, YouTube videos, presentations, and written content. 19. What I think is the book's greatest strength. It democratizes storytelling. You don't need to travel the world, become famous, survive a disaster, build a billion-dollar company, fight a war, or experience something unbelievable. A daughter asking to be held can be enough. A conversation at dinner can be enough. A mistake at work can be enough. Meaning spectacle. That's the book's strongest lesson. 20. A 10-minute daily system based on Storyworthy. Try this for 30 days. 5 minutes homework for life. Write. Today's Storyworthy moment, ____________. Then answer. 3 minutes. What did I think/feel/believe before this happened? What did I think/feel/believe after? Finally. 2 minutes. Write one sentence. I used to think ________, but then _______ made me realize _______. Do that 30 times. You now potentially have 30 personal stories plus 30 LinkedIn ideas plus 30 YouTube ideas plus 30 interview examples plus 30 lessons and a miniature archive of your life. 21. Especially useful for YouTube. A Storyworthy inspired 5 7-minute video could use this structure. 0:000:20 elephant/hook. I thought I had ruined my career. 0:21:00 context. Where, when, who. 1:002:00 backpack. This was my plan. 2:003:30 failure/complication. But then. 3:34:30 breadcrumb and tension. Then I noticed something. 4:35:00 hourglass. Slow down. 5:005:25 moment. The realization/change. 5:26:00 meaning. What changed? End early. Don't explain the lesson to death. The 3 ideas that really pay off. If you remember only 3 things from the entire book. 1. Record one storyworthy moment every day. Your ordinary life contains more material than you think. 2. Find the 5-second transformation. Don't ask only what happened. Ask. How was I different afterward? 3. Make people need the next sentence. Whether it's a presentation, interview, lesson, sales pitch, YouTube video, or conversation. Why should they keep listening? That question turns Storyworthy from a storytelling book into a practical communication system.